You can pick it up like that on a fork. All right, guys, I'm going to show you the fastest, simplest tomato sauce that you can do in the world today. And not only that, as an extra bonus, it's one of the best tasting tomato sauces you can possibly make. In fact, it might be the best tasting tomato sauce you can make. And it's so easy. And there's only one step that takes a while, and it doesn't require any work. It's just a matter of waiting, and I'll show you what that is. So step one is you just put a little bit of water in the bottom of a pot. And what I have here is about a kilo or a couple pounds of tomatoes, okay? And you have a little bit of water in the bottom, and all you do is you just dump these right in there, like so. Just fire and forget. Steady them out a little bit, and put the lid back on. And what's going to happen is it's going to take them 5 or maybe 10 minutes to boil, and all their skins are going to break open, and they're going to release their water, and the water level is going to rise. And that is because the tomatoes will release all their water, and by doing it this way, you automatically get a nice tomato sauce with a really good consistency that does not have too much water in it that you have to cook off. It only takes 5 to 10 minutes of boiling. All right, everybody. So a few minutes have passed. I don't know. It was 5, 6, 7 minutes, something like that. And you know that you got there when all the tomatoes look really broken open, and it's sort of a deflated look like that. But I guess that it would actually be dehydrated now that I think about it. So they have released water into the pot. They're all broken open, and the next thing to do that takes the most time is just to strain them, and that only takes time because you want to give them enough time to strain so that a lot of excess water comes out of them and just drops out of them basically. And so that's all for that step. All right, guys. So now I have them into the strainer, and you can really see the way a lot of the tomatoes look kind of wrinkled and all broken open and everything, and that means that their water, they've broken open and their water has released, and so there's still a lot of water, if you can see that, draining out of these, and so this is the only part that takes some time. You just want to do like that or something, and just let them drain, and a lot more water will still come out of them, and then all we're going to do is throw them in the blender, and that's pretty much, bam, we've got tomato sauce. It is that easy. A few minutes of boiling, waiting to drain, blend, tomato sauce. It is so easy, and it works on your it's your base tomato sauce for your pizzas, your pasta, your tomato pasta dishes, a lasagna, all kinds of stuff. It's a great, very versatile sauce. I have even set some aside and made salsa with it, and having the tomatoes prepared this way also makes a wonderful salsa. So this is a great little trick to do. All right, guys. So the period of just letting these drain is over. So let's have a look at them now. I think I left them here. I just went and did other things. I think I left them about an hour. Um, so now you can see that they all look really wrinkled and drained. And I just want to show you this here. In just by leaving them here, yeah, that much more water came out. And now, if you've ever made your own tomato sauce where you like boil down the tomatoes until they're the right consistency, you know that this amount of water would be a really big deal. And all that, and just by walking away from this method and leaving it for about an hour, that much drained out. So see you at the blender in a minute. All right, guys. Well, we are down to the point where there are only a couple of steps left. I've got our dehydrated tomatoes in the blender. You definitely do not do anything like add any more water or anything like that. The whole point of all that stuff that we just did was to get the water out. And that's why this so instantly makes a tomato sauce, just from this very simple boiling and draining process. So at this point, we want to create a sauce that has a little bit of flavor going on. So if you want to make this the most basic tomato sauce that you can just blend this up and have it like that, and it'll be okay. But I want to give it flavor at this point. So I'm going to put in these 4 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to add in some salt. Get that focused. There we go. All right, some sea salt. So let's see here. What am I going to do? I'm going to do something that is very close to about half a spoon here. That goes in. Okay, and we're going to blend. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about how I was just blending this. I had this on the very lowest setting. I only turned this one and then one more, which is the lowest blend setting. And I was not blending it for an amount of time. I was blending it for an amount of sound, if you will, because the tomato sauce just really makes the blender sound. It's very easy for it to break up, but when it gets to the garlic, you do hear it break up the garlic a little bit. You kind of hear like an extra chop sound. And so what I was doing was I was listening for the sound on the very low blend of all that garlic getting chopped up, and I can also see bits of garlic in here that are chopped up as well. And you want this to be a chunky sauce. You don't want to blend it until you've turned it into some kind of puree. You want bits of chunkiness to it. So the very lowest blender setting, just when you're listening for the garlic to all get chopped up, this is just to make sure that you don't suddenly go, oh wow, there's still like a whole chunk of garlic in here, like half a piece or a whole piece. You just want to make sure it all got run through the blender. All right, guys, so we now have a completed tomato sauce. And I'm just putting in the last bits of basil from my garden. I just went out and picked this from my garden, which has already been growing for a while. So just getting these in there. And this is the last flavor component that you want to give this. So this is where I'm going to keep the tomato sauce, and it just has all these lovely little fresh basil leaves down in the bottom here, and the sauce is done. Everything is finished. That's it. That's how easy homemade tomato sauce is. Boiled, let drain, blended. There it is. And I just want to show you here. Look at how, like, I'm using a fork, and this sauce, because of that boiling process, it holds on a fork. You see that? You can pick it up like that on a fork. Let's have a little taste. It's lovely. So after it sits for a little while, the reason we put that fresh basil in the bottom is that fresh basil is going to infuse into that sauce. So after it's been in the refrigerator for several hours or what have you, or a day, it's all going to taste like that basil all throughout. It'll infuse through it. And that's it. That's how easy homemade tomato sauce is. You don't have to cook it for hours or do any of that garbage. That's it. Base gardening.